because the emotional swings get stronger and stronger as the series progresses. But I didn't feel it on the bench. A part of it was we had a phenomenal crowd here tonight, right? I mean, they were electric from the start, and the players feed off that for sure. But all I could say is I didn't feel it on the bench, right? There wasn't the. Certainly, there was excitement when we either tied it or got the lead, but the players, go back to that game in Toronto. The players have kind of taken, in a lot of ways, have taken over the bench. It's their time, their leadership, and I thought that's what I felt on the bench. At no point did I feel that they needed me to pump their tires during that game. They handled all of it.
The challenge was obviously a big moment in the game.
Yeah.
So looked really small, of course. Was there anyone in particular that spotted that, or was that
that's John Conjemi?
Just what can you say about that?
Well, because I didn't have it on the bench, I don't have the views early enough. I've only got end zone and a far distance. All I can see is there might be. We get the call to the bench that it's a hand pass and it's tight, right? He caught that, so that's kind of the game, right? Zach Dalpe, big goal. Lusty, huge goal. Maybe some names that don't get talked about in the series, John Conjemi and Miles Fee back in the video room, but what an enormous impact they have. They called it. I didn't have it on the bench.
We've talked all season about just the unwavering belief that you continue to have in this team. How was this game indicative of that belief and the belief that this team has in one another?
Yeah. Kind of, for me, it started, the first 5 days of training camp were brutal. Hard as I've pushed a team, and they just survived it. They just kept going. And that was like the first sign to me that there was something here. And then we had 3, I think, really challenging pieces to our schedule with injuries and travel and the standings where we really got tested. And they handled it. So the truest confidence is earned, right? It's not a guy pumping your tires. It's not a participation ribbon. It's truly earned. So I think they carry some of that with them.
It's hard to probably single out one goal in a period like that, but Matthews come in like 30 seconds after you guys give up the shorthanded. You said the bench never kind of wavered. Could you just kind of like that 30-second span, obviously, things could have gone bad.
That's the most challenging one. A shorthanded goal in a game that important, right, can cripple you. If it was the first time we've seen Matthew do something like that, we would say, oh, what a great time to step up, except it's just almost routine for him. So he has the ability to stay focused in these games. He doesn't come out of them now. And I do think it's a significant maturation in his game over the course of the year. Just look at the penalty structure. You get into January, February, March, he stopped taking penalties. Kind of an ascension into that truly elite category of player, the importance of him. And then he just keeps reinforcing it in the playoffs.
I mean, we talked about Matthew pretty much after every game. He does something crazy. I mean, how does he do it? I mean, he composes himself.
Listen, if we knew, we'd all be doing it, right? I don't know what he's at, 9.5. It'd be a good day for all of us. There's a level of. There are moments in my job where I am just truly a fan. So much of that happens in practice. We'll all see a level of elite. I used to see it kind of with Matt Sundin. You get through the neutral zone on a transition drill. Blake Wheeler, turn a corner, and he'd go by you so fast that you're just kind of in awe of it. The hand skills that he has, the things that he does with the puck, I'm not saying it reduces you to a fan. I don't mean, that's not the right word, but it brings you back to your fandom of the game of, oh my God, these guys are good. Pasternak's goal. I mean, this is a level of skill that's just off the charts, right? Like, I'm not saying I was cheering for the goal. I'm just saying, especially now, you can look back and go, oh my God, these guys are good. They are so good.
And then just to switch gears here, I was talking to Sam Reithart this morning, and he said the ability to kind of adjust from that frustration and grow from it was a big part of adjusting to the playoff game. And you see after Game 4 where things kind of look bleak and there's frustration setting in, and you're able to kind of turn that frustration into the games you played in Game 5 and Game 6. I mean, how were you guys able to do that?
I think they're a smart group. The ability to learn under stress. It's the hardest thing to do is learn under stress. But they have. So they've made adjustments in their game. You go back to Game 1, we had 36 really good minutes of it, but the rest cost us the game, right? So they learned, and they've taken some of it out of their game, and I think our offensive zone's considerably better right now than it was at the start of this series. I promise you we're doing our best to stay out of the penalty box, I guarantee it. So there's still some learning that has to go through this. We have to go through. Smart plays. Like that line tonight for me was the best line on the ice. Lusteran and Lundell and Reinhardt. Lusty was a fourth-line center last year. Lundy's in the 3-hole with Rhino. There's some chemistry there. But the growth in those two, especially their games, spectacular. So that learning's kind of gone on all year here.
You've talked, and maybe I'm reading between the lines, of keeping this series, the scores tight and down. And
How am I doing?
well, I'm just curious. Is this the kind of game you didn't think you could win in this series? A high-scoring game?
I don't think either team started with it. That wasn't, it wasn't the game plan. I don't know if I had an answer for it. I think I really liked our first period in all 6 games. I've loved the way we've started. And then this thing just morphs into its own animal, and you just got to deal with it after, right? And pucks were going in at both ends of the ice tonight. We've seen that this year, and we've seen really tight games. It would make Game 7 a more difficult game to predict. The style of game more difficult to predict.
Speaking of which, Game 7 coming quick now. What do you expect looking from here at that?
I'm not, you know what, I'm not. I'm going to enjoy tonight. Enjoy that we really try to section our days. This is just about tonight. Tomorrow we'll go through the exact same routine we've gone every off day in our series, and then we'll get to Game 7, and I want to enjoy it. I want to enjoy the hell out of it. It's the best part of the game. When there's the most pressure on, Game 7, the obvious elimination game, you got to be able to enjoy it. You have to find a way to enjoy it.
Coach, with everything that was going on tonight, which was a lot, obviously, how much did your belief in your group how high was it, and how do you evaluate the fact that it may have grown throughout this series?
Well, the belief is there. We're a good team. I don't know how to explain it any better. For me, there was a handoff, and it happened in the Toronto game to the players. Came back and won that game in overtime. The coaches, we have prep decisions to make, we have matchup decisions to make, and you run the bench. But in terms of, I wouldn't say necessarily even in between periods, because we have a role in how we want to frame our mindset. But on the bench during the game, the players are running the mindset. It's them. It's the leadership. It's more than just, Barkov, Ekblad, who was really good tonight, and Tkachuk. It's that kind of whole group. Everybody's got a piece. They're running the bench.
Paul, after everything over here,
Sorry.
after everything this group has gone through, how much do you deserve a Game 7? After everything that this team has had to fight through all year just to get in, how much did they earn this
I
chance?
think Game 7's fair, right? I mean, they deserve to win games in this series for sure, right? We haven't been dominant by any means. Don't expect to be in Game 7. But the learning experience, the pressure, and the joy of Game 7, I think they've earned.
Paul, a lot of times when you get to over here,
I'm sorry.
a lot of times when you get to this stage of the season in the playoffs, coaches in big games like this, you'll see them kind of shorten their bench a little bit and want to get their best guys out there.
Yeah.
But tonight, you got goals from all 4 lines, particularly in the third period when the
Right.
game was on the line.
Right.
You talk about the importance and just how nice it is to be able to have a team you can roll 4 lines at that point of the game.
Critical because I couldn't in the first. So I'm double shifting Barkov on the PK. There's 2 power plays, so he's at 8 and change, and I've got Stahl at 132 in that line, right? Like they haven't been out. So I know they have to play. I have to get them back into the rotation. And then once they got into the rotation, they had a heavy D-zone coverage shift at the start of the second period. But the next time they went out, they were good. And that's what kind of buys it. So they allowed that to happen. It's not great coaching to play them. It's after that first shift, I'm looking at their next one. The next two shifts are like really important for them. And they got a little bit better and a little bit stronger. And then, that's just a great story, Zach Dalby, right? He does everything that you would want the guy in the American League. He's the lead dog down there. He's in phenomenal shape. He's happy to be there. He's a great leader. That's the right guy to come up and pull us out of the fire. He's got a hell of a shot, always has, skates hard. So there's nice little stories going on in our room that are kind of special to the people who've given an awful lot and then earned that chance. They earned it. That wasn't me deciding that, hey, I got to play my fourth line because I'm a really smart coach. It was, my fourth line's been pretty good. I got a good, strong centerman down there. I got Whitey playing his offside. I got left and right hand face-off guys, and the guy skate like the wind is short. Why wouldn't you go? Okay, guys.
Thank you.